Shalom, call Lime La, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakadash, double honor to the others, Apostle Great Millstone, Shalom to Yakim in faith and truth and sincerity. This should be a quick lesson titled pretty much Who Runs the World, and we know who runs the world, but this is just back to the basics and just proving that that we're in captivity, and the people that claim that they're the Lord's people are not in captivity. And that's how we know who we are. Job 9:24, the earth, which is literally from coast to coast, most nations, or every nation, you could say, even those in power are not even in power, because all wars are bankers' wars, and we know who owns the banks, man. We know who was the first gangsters and the mafias. And guess what? There's such gangsters and mafias that they made sure that they were not even known. I'm going to try my best to not name these things and these people, because I'll use coding words of what you do, like small hatters or JOOs, S's, but tunnel crawlers, whatever. But because the elder apostle, not the elder apostle, but the elder Malcolm out of Chicago, the head, I just watched a lesson from 7 years ago, him speaking about pretty much using correct terminology so that we're not deemed in a certain way. We don't give a fuck about Esau. We still got to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, so we can't be overzealous and just thinking, just because, we know this truth, let's just talk crazy. Because there's a reason why the Lord encoded certain words in the Bible, is so we wouldn't, the Bible wouldn't be deemed out, and so we would know this truth and be able to break it down once amongst another, It's not be painted in a way, because trust me, the persecution's coming, we don't need to rush the persecution, it's gonna come, Job 9:24, the earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. Who is the wicked? We already know. Esau, Edom, Ishashua, he who is wasted, Edom, going into the word Adawam, red, Rothschilds, meaning red shield. Hey, we know what family that come from, man. That's the Khazars, that's the small hatters, man. They run all the banks. They run all the judicial system. They have power in every sector and branch of monetary funds in the world. So anything that creates money, anything that has to do with money, hey, they behind it, man. And it's not just them. There's other families. And the earth is definitely not given into the hand of the Israelites right now, even though it's made for the Israelites. The Israelites is the descendants of Jacob, whose name was changed into Israel. Yasharallah, he prince of the power. And we know who the princes of the powers are. You so-called blacks, Native American, Hispanics. Why do you guys think you're so much more different, even though why do you guys think you're so much more special and different than everyone else? Of course, everyone has their different qualities, and you got other heathens who have salt, but no one else has the seasoning and the flavor which you so-called blacks have. And you guys not only not you just you so-called blacks, you so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, and you so-called other people who may not even look like us, but you guys come from us, man. You have to understand the Lord scattered us throughout all nations since, years and generations before, man. The slave trade ain't nothing that happened yesterday, man. So we've been mingling amongst another. So you cannot just tell someone just by looking at their phenotype, Can't judge a book by its cover in this thing. It's very spiritual. Those who get it, those who's meant for it, they will get it. But this whole word will go out to every Israelite before, the end comes, as the scriptures say, He covered the face of the judges there. Excuse me. That's right, man. We're the judges, man. You have a whole book in the Bible called Judges, So, the judges is something important, man. And the earth has to have judges, and it will have judges again. Correct judges. It already has judges right now, but they're not in power. And the Lord is, pretty much having us in a humility period, you could say. But we're about to have 144,000 judges, man. Ruling the earth. And that's the reason why you have the London judges. Whenever you see judges portrayed in the cartoon, they have the mop hair. That's to symbolize the wool. Because they know the true judges of the earth, they have hair like wool, as the scriptures say. Yahweh Shai is the true judge, man. Yahweh, their depiction is a dark-skinned man with woolly hair. Who do we know that have that kind of hairstyle, man? You Israelites, man. And specifically, you Southern Kingdom, the tribe of Judah. You so-called West Indians, you so-called Haitians, you so-called Black Americans, you Negroes. You guys are the number one tribe. And the world has always depicted you guys' hair as what? Or what's the derogatory term they use? They say it's bear with me, man. Not coarse, but yeah, they say coarse too. Nappy headed, peasy headed, all that fuck shit, right? But the true terminology for it, which the elder Makama put me on it a couple months back, is it's over curly. Your hair is so curly that it intertwines into one another. That's why it needs so much care, because you leave afro alone for shit a week, boy, that's a lot of picking to do. It ain't hard. It ain't the hardest thing in the world, but that's a lot of picking to do, you know. But man, that's how you guys know that we're the true judges, man, because they want to imitate our phenotypes and they know the truth. If not, where and who is he? Because if Esau Edom, which is the so-called white man, if he didn't try to paint the face of the judges, who did? Because Jesus, which is a big major false idol on this side of the world and all throughout the world in reality, he's not painted as a Hispanic. He's not painted as a Chinese guy. The Chinese, they have their own false gods. They praise and they worship what? And Jesus is not a real person, man. That's a depiction created by that artist. I can't even think of him right now, of Caesar Borgia. But the point being is, I think Leonardo. Nah, I don't want to butcher. I don't want to make any false claim, but it was an artist, and you guys can find it. But the point being is, yeah, they worship Buddha out there in the land of China, man, the land of Moab, their biblical name. The Japanese, I don't even know what they worship, man. Probably the same shit, some stupidity. The Muslims, they create a whole false god off of the Bible, named Allah. That has a prophet named Muhammad that prophesies about pretty much nothing, man. Tries to pretty much take from the Bible and imitate it. It's much younger than the Bible. The Bible is the number one selling book in the earth. It's the only book that's translated into every different language upon the face of the earth. The so-called Indians, they practice Hinduism. They look up to the false god. What's her fucking name? Goddamn, the lady with the dreads, man. Shiva and elephants and shit. You know, so who would it be, man? It's obviously you guys. And you guys control the earth. Because that's what happens. When you walk into someone's house and you take over, you don't just leave the former family's pictures up and their portraits and all that. You put your own family pictures up and portraits. So that's what happened, man. And they're not ruling the earth because they're special of any kind. They're ruling the earth because we went off. We got kicked out of the house. We got kicked out of rulership because we disobeyed our parents. That's what happens, right? You 18 years old, you getting grown, you getting mouthy. You think you the shit. As a lady, you want to be out there, you whore in the streets. Or as a dude, you want to be out there, you selling drugs, you slinging guns. Your parents kick your ass out. And that's what happens, man. We spiritually went off. We went to praising off false idols, so forth and so on. You get the point. You get the gist. Back that scripture up. First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 3, and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen, who are the heathen? Those who aren't Israelites. That's what it's speaking of. Had sought to paint the likeness of their image. So they try to copy us, man. You know, what we're seeing right now is Esau Edom's best way of portraying to be an Israelite. You know, and he's doing a terrible job at it. And he's clearly in the last days because he's being exposed on all facets and forms, man. Esau Edom, he's truly the wicked, man. Look at the Olympics. Look at them perverting, I guess, the feast, you know, like the supper which Yahushua had with his men. They using, man, this place is a fucking joke, man. This place is a joke. But I really wanted to get on the JEWs, but, you know, the spirit got it going somewhere else. Bear with me. Beginning. How am I spelling this wrong? Second Ezra 6:9, for Esau is the beginning of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So Jacob's turn is going to be after Esau's turn. And we know who Jacob is, because we damn sure not the Edomites, man. And if Esau Edom is not the Edomites, Salakia. If Esau Edom is not the so-called white man, Esau Edom is Jacob. Who is Esau? Who is the Edomites ruling after? You can't make this shit up, man. But to prove that we're the Israelites again, man, look at our people, man. There's no one worse, living a worse sort of life. I ain't saying there's not poverty in India. I'm not saying there's not poverty in different nations, man. But on a wide scale, mass scale, you can find us suffering at an all-time high, man. We're in the number one nation that has the highest incarceration in the whole entire world. What race of people do they incarcerate the most? Wow, we're not even the majority, so-called. They paint us as thieves, cops, and criminals, or Salaki, not cops, but they paint us as thieves, criminals, and murderers, and all these different things. When they came to this land and they raped, robbed, and pillaged it from our people, which is the Native American, biblically known as Gad and Reuben, and you know they're good people, but we're not good people. We're just the worst. Since it's 8:24, I'm just go to verse 24, just to randomize this, just to prove that we're the people. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder, and dust from heaven shall it come down upon thee until it be destroyed. Hey, you know, the Lord took our Salakia, and thy heaven head shall be brass, and the earth shall be iron. The Lord shall cause thee and smitten before thy enemies, thou shalt go out thy way before them. That's right, man. So, you know, the Lord destroyed our lands, man. Our crops. We were sabotaged. We were kicked out of the land. We what was it called? Back in 70 AD. I'm trying to figure out the biblical term. I was trying to figure out last time too. And that's abomination, devastation. Kind of, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm not butchering that, you know. And we had to run from our enemies. We go to our enemies for the wants of all things, man. But yeah, the point is, hey, we're not in rulership, and we know who's in rulership. We know who owns these banks. We know the families, man. They've been exposed. Who owns the media? There's only 6 large companies who own the media, man. And every other media outlet, they have to go to those major companies. And who do you think runs that number one? You know, that starts it all. Which is, these are all called conglomerates, but you so-called J-double-O's, S's, man. Your ESPNs, your CBS, your Blockbusters, your Paramounts, your CNN, your Warner Bros. How do you not expect these people to be rich, man? These people, first of all, a lot of these banks, they used to own slaves, man. So they came up off of cheap labor. To this day, their descendants are still enjoying of it. They have sex with their cousins and they keep the wealth within their family. They have family trusts and bonds, which the money just never stops. You know, the money just never stops compounding, and they never stop getting richer. While the poor, you know, they are in a race with them, and they're in a racing with people that had a bunch of head starts ahead of them. But you know, we're at the end because Jacob. They're still finding a way to be successful. Although the only way you can really succeed in this place is you know, doing wickedness. But you have Jakes who are in high positions of power, who aren't into wickedness or whatnot. Of course, they probably don't know the truth and they got the consolation on their side. But the fact that Jake is in power and not on a cotton field and doing these different things and getting their women, you know, that's going to show that this place is crumbling. And this is not, we ain't no damn pro-Palestinians. We not out here boycotting shit. You can't boycott nothing in America. And if you think you can, you're a damn fool. Because, as you can see, even plastics come from them. So most of your beverages and containers, here you are, you think you're not supporting the brand. Your brand that you think is, let's say you're African. You're pro-Nigerian, you're pan-Africanism. I'm all about Africa. I want to keep my dollar in Africa and Guyana only. Okay, right? So it's an African farm, an African owner, and the farm's in Africa, and, you know, they pretty much, that farm needs containers or plastic or something to put it in. And they have to ship it over to wherever the hell you are. And you want to do business. You got to use them. You got to use their ports you paying taxes on. You got to maybe use their dollars. You got to maybe use their containers, their fuel, which they use to trade in their dollars. So these people, they got the game, man. The earth was given unto them, and they were meant to rule, whether if you like it or not. It is what it is, you know. So that's why you really can't compare yourself to the next man, because hey, they're coming from families of their grandfather left them this, your grandfather left them that. You know, so these are some of the brands, and a lot of these brands are just the major parent company, and they have a ton of other companies under them. So yeah, you have the illusion of choice, but really, you don't have a choice, because due to conglomerates, they make sure. That's how powerful and smart Esau Edom is. They're not even smart, but that's how wicked they are. That they make it in such a way, which with capitalism, they buy up everything to the point where even if you try to come against them, you really for them. You know, here you are, you thinking just because Bud Light did a homosexual commercial, and you know with that, and you want to go support Modelo or Corona, owned by the same fucking parent company. Would you believe that? Man. So hopefully this made some sense. And do you have any other scriptures? Nah, that's really what I wanted to make my point on, man. That they own the whole entire earth, man. Because I was thinking to myself, like usually whenever I go do these different drop-offs, and I'm doing these different jobs at different places, I'm like, bro, who owns these places, man? How the hell could you own so many damn units and properties? How couldn't you, bro, when your grandfather, fathers was the first people to touch wealth here? They had people enslaved building up shit at no cost, and then charging people, and then taxing the people with their banks. And then having you, with your hard-earned money, get taxed on and go buy their products. You work for them and you spend with them. Wow. But with that, I don't want to rant. On to the next one. Shalom.